Why are you bored? Because I'm lost. I have a friend. Sit down. And this app could be anytime you feel bored, thing in the content which you, because this app would always be there. Now, I kind of have been a university professor for the most of my life, and I realize that education, when kids go to college, universities, get a degree, higher education, PhDs, whatever, all that teaches them how to learn to be not lonely. Because, now you may have heard this, I've been saying it all my life to my classes, my students. Learning is a concept which never ends. The only day you stop learning is the day you die. So how much do we need to learn? So there is a reality about learning. The more you learn, the more you realize that you need to learn more. Now, why do I say that? Because the more I have learned in my life, I have had the most diverse life of anyone that I can think of. I started with architecture, designing buildings, designed projects all over the world, won competitions. Then I started teaching. And then I won an awarded Meritorious Performance and Professional Promise Award. The year I was granted tenure and full professorship. And I was also told that I became the youngest full professor in the CSU history and got this award. Then I moved on to acquire industrial companies, and then I started making a lot of money, and then I broke my leg, and I said, I'm done with making money and running companies. I want to work on joy score, and helping others with joy. Now, so the more I think about Joy Score as an app, it's an educational app. So in teaching, I realize that the students, when they do a project or a paper or research or anything, they get a grade. And they always, not always, but some of them would come back to me and say, how could I have done better and get a better grade? And it's a good topic to talk about, and I would outline things they could have done to get a better grade. It's the same thing happens with Joy Score. So when people get their Joy Score, they immediately ask me, how can I improve my Joy Score? And actually, did I ever talk about how I brought score into joy?
No, you have not.
Okay. So I went to Harvard Business School OPM program in '98. Spent $150,000 to do that, but I learned a lot. So after I gave up everything, 2004, when I broke my leg on motorcycle, I said, I got to be able to share what I learned at Harvard Business School with my key people, the presidents and the key project managers of the companies that I used to own. I had 9 companies that I gave up when I broke my leg. So I gathered all the key people in these companies and I said, look, I'm going to be teaching my own Harvard management style program every Thursday evening. You don't have to pay anything. In fact, I'll be buying pizza and drinks. You just have to show up.
Right.
And people started showing up. And so the only requirement I have that everybody has to read a book and summarize it and make a presentation to the class about that book. So one of the books somebody reviewed was named Game of Work. And the guy who wrote it, he was a football coach. And the best thing I learned from him in the book was he called that keeping score is breakfast for champions. I say I totally agree with that. I mean, the whole educational system is based on scoring.
Yes, it is.
Grades.
Yep.
If it wasn't for that, there wouldn't be any educational system of learning, you know. So I said, well, I had written by then a book called Joy in Health and Happiness. And I said, wow, I agree with this guy. That score is the most important thing in life to have. So I, in a very humble way, borrowed score from him. Added score to my joy, and I started calling my concept Joy Score.
Joy score.
Now, in a humble way, even joy wasn't my own, by the way. I got joy from Betty Edwards.
Right. Who was an associate of yours at Long Beach State.
Yeah, we taught together, and
Yeah.
we actually were in the process of working on the book called Designing on the Right Side of the Brain, because she had written a book called Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. I said, Betty, we got to do a book called Design. And she said, absolutely, it's very natural, you know. And we started working, and all of a sudden she was being invited to lecture on brain and offer her $10,000. And she said, I'm out of here. I make more money just lecturing than teaching. You know?
Yes.
And I said, what about our project? He said, handle it yourself, you know. So finally, in 2011, I published Joy in Health and Happiness, and then finished 17 Joy Score, and then I started working on the app. Anyway, so that's the quick summary of where we have been.
That is something. So it's interesting, you know, everybody, as you mentioned, everybody, you know, from time to time has loneliness.
Yeah.
Whether you're moving to a new school or a city, you know, a child leaves for college, loss of a spouse, things like that. And for many people, Professor Joy, loneliness is like a transient type of a thing. It's not a long-term sort of a situation. Right, it's not permanently. But apparently for some, this persistent emotion of loneliness shapes their behavior. So a study by Dr. Ellen Lee, Associate Professor of Psychiatry at UC San Diego, has found that there is mounting research that entrenched loneliness is bad for our health and that it raises the risk for neurodegenerative diseases. Because historically, humans evolved to be social creatures, to not live alone, to, to reduce dangerous situations, reduce the, and increase the odds of survival. Experts think that loneliness may have emerged as a unique type of stress signal to prompt us to seek companionship. But with chronic loneliness, that stress response gets stuck, and you get a fear response similar to a mental illness. So, research also shows that lonely people are hypersensitive to negative social words like disliked or rejected. And they show a blunted response to images of strangers in pleasant social situations, suggesting that even positive encounters may be less rewarding for them. So, scientists think that this loneliness triggers the stress response, which also activates the immune system and increases levels of some inflammatory chemicals. That's why it's so important to get the social aspect and to not be lonely and to get out of your shell, so to speak, and not be sitting on the sideline.
You know, I think you saw this article. It's about
Tell the audience what it's about.
Jonathan Haidt blames tech for teen anxiety. So, this topic of tech is very dear to me
Yes.
because I don't facetiously blame Mr. Zuckerberg. He is the cause of not millions, billions of people to suffer from anxiety, depression, obesity, diabetes, and mental illness.
Yes.
Low self-esteem is what tech causes because, you know, our life is like a shade of gray, where on one extreme we are very happy and excited. On the other side, we are lonely, depressed, low self-esteem.
Yep.
So these tech people, now, by the way, JoyScore is also a tech app. I mean, we are dealing with technology.
Absolutely.
But we are not
But-
trying to hook them up and cause them to kill themselves.
Every time you log on to JoyScore, you become better, not worse.
Exactly. So you learn to improve your life, to live a better life. The minute you get your JoyScore, it motivates you to get better in your life, not hurt you and kill you.
No, because this research, Professor Joy, is showing that loneliness takes on the cardiovascular system, increases your blood pressure, increases your heart rate, and can have a detrimental effect on the brain. Not only that, people who are lonely and less likely to be physically active are more likely to smoke cigarettes.
You know, it's so interesting. You talk about cigarettes, and I bet you they also do drugs and alcohol.
And alcohol, yes.
Everything possible.
Yep.
Because, you know, like I just said a minute ago, JoyScore and joy is about living your life to the fullest. It shows you how to live a life worth living. And Facebook, Instagram, TikTok shows you how to feel bad about your life. Because you look at other people who look either better or even they are not better, you feel they're better. In about all the about number 14 is looking good.
Yeah.
You know, it's like all those things in my list that I sent you are the things which JoyScore helps you with. Now, all these apps like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, they do not deal with those positive things we talk about.
Not at all.
They only are video sharing apps. So meaning you look at videos and then you find some of people who look better than you. And you say, oh my God, I'm so much worse. No, you're not. There's nothing wrong with you.
Right.
I mean, kids go kill themselves over this nonsense. So
It is out.
So with tech, you know, we can't just blame tech. It's how you use tech, how parents allow tech to be used by the teens.
I think that's the key right there. That
where are
that
the
statement.
parents?
That statement right there. Yeah.
Where are the parents?
Right.
Who are these teens children of? Who do they belong to?
Right.
So how come we just blame the tech and I just blame Mr. Zuckerberg? Look, I mean, he developed the technology. I mean, I agree with he should not have the algorithm to hook people up. That's wrong. His people have, his employees have told him, sir, our algorithm is hurting teenagers. And he said, I don't care. I just want to make money. So that's where technology can be blamed. But I think the bulk of the blame goes to the parents
Yes.
and the leaders of the world. You know, like right now, U.S. is talking about banning TikTok, right?
Right.
Why? Because they're worried that China is stealing data. Okay, how about not banning TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook? All three should be banned.
Yeah.
They're hurting our upcoming generation. That should be the goal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree. Yeah. Yeah. So this article concludes by talking about loneliness. Find some place where you can be a part of a shared community, but not only a shared community, a community where they have a shared interest that you have as well. And that begins to take you out of that black hole of loneliness, because you can commiserate with people, you can share things with people. And that's what you can do on JoyScore. You join a community of people who want to make themselves better.
You know, I have seen people do that. They'll get their JoyScore and they ask somebody else that they don't even know, hey, what's your JoyScore? What is JoyScore? Here is an app. Find out what's your JoyScore. I'm interested in knowing, and maybe we can help each other improve it. Right away, you got someone that you can interact with. You know, loneliness is something which is so easy to overcome. We even have an app, a dating app, which is called Joy Match, Joy Dil. You know, I mean, these are apps to help people bring them out of loneliness.
Right.
But you have to be 18 years or older to be able to download these apps. But you can download JoyScore. I mean, we have people from 4-year-old working with JoyScore and concepts. Even the books that we have for children, like Mother's Day book, Father's Day book, JoyScore book.
Right.
I mean, these are, you know, I am surprised, and I was shocked a few years ago when I learned that 4-year-olds do yoga and meditation and they love it. I mean, ask Steffi. I mean, her son does it.
Yeah.
I mean, I said, how is it possible? I said, no, they do it. They love it. So, you know, life is beautiful. And if nothing else you have in this world is your mother that you can be friends with.
Exactly.
And she will never reject your friendship. So
Amen.
here is a friend that I'm suggesting that you have for life,
Right.
as long as you live.
Right.
And she'll always be there for you.
Yep.
That's the way to overcome loneliness.
Yeah.
Respect your mother. Connect with your mother. Give her a call.
Exactly.
Mom, I want to be your friend.
Exactly. Give her a white carnation.
There you go.
Okay. Everybody, have a great Mother's Day.
That's beautiful.
That
I love
is.
it.
That is. Have a great day. We will see you next week on
Yes, sir.
another podcast of Dr. Joy,
Thank you so
Professor
much.
Joy. Yep.
Thank